Our scripture reading this morning is from the book of Isaiah. Isaiah in the Old Testament. If you cut your Bible in half, most likely you will land on the book of Isaiah. We're reading chapter 6 of Isaiah, verse 1 to 13. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1 to 13. I'm reading from the NASB version, and you can follow silently in your particular version. Isaiah chapter 6. Reading now. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, lofty and exalted, with the train of his robe filling the temple. Cherubim stood above him, each having 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called out to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the threshold trembled at the voice of him who called out, while the temple was filling with smoke. Then I said, Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the cherubim flew to me with a burning coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is forgiven. Then I heard a voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, Here am I, send me. He said, Go and tell his people, keep on listening, but do not perceive. Keep on looking, but do not understand. Render the hearts of these people insensitive, their ears dull, and their eyes dim. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and return and be healed. Then I said, Lord, how long? And he answered, Until cities are devastated and without inhabitants, houses are without people, and the land is utterly desolate. The Lord has removed men from away, and the forsaken place are many in the midst of the land. Yet there will be a 10th portion in it, and it will again be subject to burning, like a terebinth or an oak, whose stump remains when it is felled. The holy seal is its stump. May the Lord bless the reading of His word. May we see it. Let us look to God. Father in heaven, we thank you for the joy that is ours to be in your house of worship, that we can welcome this brand new year in your presence with joy, with anticipation, with gladness. We pray that you'll speak to us out of your word. I pray for this poor man, Lord, that you may hide him behind the cross of Christ. May your Spirit come down to speak to us like you did to Isaiah. We pray that you will humble us so that in due time we may be exalted as the coming Christ. We will pray in His name. Amen. 2020 is brand new. Like Pandesal, it's very hot. This morning, as we anticipate the next 12 months ahead of us, it's good for us to be in the house of the Lord so we can be aligned properly in our walk the next 12 months. Looking back, we can look at God's faithfulness who brought us to this point this far. And we have confidence that He who led us through the last year will continue to lead us even in greater heights. That is our hope on God. I'd like to ask a few questions. You've been coming to this church, many of you, for 20-some years. Others maybe more than 10 years. Others a few years, maybe some a few months. The question is, after these many years of coming to church, these many years of worship, these many years of following and serving God, if you have done so, after that, what do you know about this God that you claim to worship and to follow? How did you come to know Him? Now that you have arrived at this point in your journey with God, if you are journeying with God, how did you come to know Him now that we are in this 2020? How did He reveal Himself to you all these many months and years? Who is your God this morning? Or shall we say, what is your God? Because if you ask people who come to church, they all believe in God. The only question is, what kind of God do they believe? What do they know about this God? To Isaiah, the one we read in chapter 6, it reveals to us in this chapter how the prophet Isaiah came to know his God in a way that Isaiah never knew God before. You see, we have known God all the way up to the year 2019. You've known Him. But I guarantee you there is more to God that you don't know yet. And I hope and pray that 2020 would be a year where you know Him more than all the years that you have known Him. I hope that 2020 will not be the same as the last many years that you know God. Because Isaiah, he came from, they say, a noble family, and most likely he is part of that priestly line or serving the Lord. But up until this point in Isaiah chapter 6, he never knew God this way in his life before. Would you like to know God in a way that you have never known Him before the year 2020?
Amen.
Would that be your prayer, that I would like to know more about this God that I come to worship every Sunday? I would like to experience something new this 2020. Would that be your wish and prayer? You see, Isaiah revealed to us that there is more to God than what he has experienced before. And I like that, because I also would like to have a new experience with God. And in this story, in this passage, Isaiah came to know God by way of personal revelation from God. Have you ever experienced to know God in a personal way? You know, when we come to church, we feel like we are part of the whole crowd. We experience God as a church as a whole. But have you ever experienced to know God in your own personal way that even the person next to you doesn't understand or doesn't know? It's just between you and God. Is that something you have experienced? Have you ever experienced God in that personal way? Where you can say to yourself, without anyone knowing what's in your mind, you tell yourself, now I've heard God. speaking to me, just like the way Isaiah heard God speaking to him that day. Have you ever said to yourself something, now I know something I haven't known before? And you might ask, why should I ask that? Why do I have to ask you that? You see, because until that happened to you, which one? The one that you say yourself, I hear God today. Clearly. Just like what Isaiah heard that day. Until you arrive to that experience, all you have is a God that is way out there. Far away. The God that religious people always talk about. But they have never experienced that God in a personal way. People who are religious, they believe in God. Only the God that they have is some vague, distant person out there somewhere. But they never really know them in a personal way. You ask them to tell you about their God and they explain so many things. Not even close to the true God of the Bible. But if you have known Him in a personal way, you can say with Isaiah, I heard God spoke to me like that one. And that's what pagans experience. Pagans are believers in God. Only their gods are idols. They believe their gods are there, but they never really know who this God is. Because their God only exists where? In their mind. Not in their true experience. A lot of people are like that. They come to church Sunday after Sunday for many years, but their God is just there in their mind. It's not something they can sing with a song, and I walk with Him and I talk with Him. Because Isaiah knew his God in a living, personal way. Have you got that one? So the question is, how did God reveal Himself to Isaiah? Well, we can say that must be a vision experience because he saw God. Well, he's down here living planet Earth, but how did he come to see God seated on His throne? It must be through a vision. God tells us in the book of Hebrews that that's the way God reveals Himself in the Old Testament times. Through dreams, through visions, things of that sort. Some people nowadays even claim that they also have that kind of vision and dreams. I don't know. But that's the way the Bible says in the Old Testament times. But in the New Testament times, He revealed Himself through this book. Through His Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. So the first thing we will consider is the glory of God revealed. How did God reveal Himself to this prophet Isaiah that day? We see that in verse 1 through 6. The glory of God revealed. Just a little bit about the background of this man, not a whole lot. This man, Isaiah, he prophesied during the period of 739 BC to 686 BC. Now, when we talk about BC, before Christ, we move our calendar from a higher number to the lower number, all the way to we reach 0. 0 is supposed to be the birth of Christ. Now, so he ministered as a prophet to 4 kings. King Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. So he served during the reign of 4 kings. Notice that the vision came to him after King Uzziah's death. Notice it. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord. Whoa. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord. Commentator says that must be around 739 BC, the death of Uzziah. Death, when we speak of death, we think of the end of life. And that's not a very happy or pleasant experience. death. Oh, but here in this passage, the death of this king brought something amazing in the life of this man, Isaiah. Do you know that death can bring to you and bring to me a new beginning? If you look at the hills around you, especially in the summer month, they're all brown and dead. Ooh, you wait till springtime, and they're all fresh and green. Death brings a new beginning. Same thing with this prophet. At the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord. Death or the end of something can bring clarity. It can bring higher purpose in life. It's just like